Welcome to the Chelsea Fans Channel. I'm here with Sophia and we are here to talk about the Aston Villa game coming up. Sophia, what are your initial thoughts?
Well, firstly, obviously, we're off the back of an international break. So a big shout out to Cahill, by the way, captaining England against the reigning world champions in their backyard.
Yep.
And then what happened at Wembley, Jack? I don't believe he was involved. And what happened?
I think England lost.
Yeah.
So, you do the maths.
So it's pretty obvious how integral good old Cahill is for the England setup. But obviously, back to club football, and we've got the mighty fixture.
The mighty Aston Villa.
Villa away. But they've obviously had a little bit of a change quietly on the side. They obviously sacked their manager.
Well, they let their guard down, didn't they?
Oh, stop it, Jack. On fire. Wow.
Yeah, I think, mate, there's no better time to be playing Villa. We haven't won a game in 4 matches, I think.
No.
So it's a perfect time to play Aston Villa, bottom of the league. They are in shocking form this season. Villa have got just 16 points from 31 games.
Yeah, and we are unbeaten in the last 6 away league games, and we have beaten them 7 out of the last 8 meetings. So
is that right?
Villa's a pretty good ground for us to go to. Having said that, I think it's sort of stats prove that when teams are doing terribly and they sack their manager, they often have a really good game in the first. They're under Eric Black.
The new manager
yeah,
factor.
exactly.
However, I would go along that line if they did get a new manager in.
Yeah, it's
but
good
they've
to
just
say
got
they're
this, like, no
relevant.
offence, Mr. Black, but they've just got, some
Well,
backroom staffer to take the reins for the day. So I'm not sure if that, the new manager effect will have kicked in just yet. Hopefully not, anyway.
I don't think any effect is really going to kick in for Villa. And I know we're not ones to really talk about having bad seasons.
Players that don't give a damn. We know about that at
Yeah.
Chelsea this season. But Aston Villa players are a disgrace. What's his name? Mika Richards this week. He's been bad-mouthing the fans. Like, one fan took a photo of him on social media, Instagram or Facebook or whatever, tagged Mika Richards into it, and then Richards then had a go at the fan and was like, what you doing tagging me in your photos? Players need a day off. Players need a rest. He's talking about Aston Villa players needing a rest. I think you need to work harder, mate.
I'm sure that went down like a bowl of soup.
It did, yes. What are you...
Well,
what are you thinking?
know what? We've all gone on the whole, we have nothing to play for, which, if you're talking about competitions, you're right, we have nothing to play for because we aren't
Europa
in
League,
any.
we're playing for that, aren't we?
We are still, it's mathematically possible to get a European position. So obviously, while that's still possible, we need to be playing for that.
Yeah.
But I think this season we can kind of look at ourselves as a piece in the jigsaw as opposed to being the bigger picture, because we still have the ability to affect what is arguably the best Premier League we've ever had this season, and that is we're playing Spurs and we're playing City, and I think we can still play a part in how this title race goes, and obviously Leicester at home on the last day of the season. So, I mean, to stop Spurs from winning the league, that's a pretty major thing to play for, personally.
I know it's, unsporting or unprofessional, whatever you want to call it, but I would throw the last game of the season all day long.
There's nothing unprofessional about it. It will basically be the Terry testimonial last day, devastatingly for all of us, but it's going to happen. So it'll just be the John Terry day, and it'll be like, oh, sorry, was there a football match?
For once in his life, John Terry will not make all the great tackles. He'll just say, go on, lads.
Off you go.
Score a goal.
And obviously Ranieri back at the bridge. He's a hero to all of us. So hope they do it for us, for them even.
Onwards and upwards. Shall we talk about our predicted team? The team we would like to see.
Again, we've always been beating on about bringing in the youth. So I think, again, that's the sort of theme we're going for. Obviously, let's start with the goalkeeper. And I need to have a bit of a rant about Courtois, personally. Because I think it's really disgraceful what he came out with and said that he'd rather play with the Belgian back four as opposed to our back four. And also, when talking about contract, he sort of alluded to the fact that he wasn't quite sure whether he wanted to stay at Chelsea. Well, quite frankly, Courtois, I know you've had a poor time in terms of injuries, understandably, but you haven't been that great.
Yeah. If
since
you're
you've
having
come
the
back.
season of your life,
Fair enough.
You could come out with comments like that. If you're having a pretty mediocre season, which he is,
which you are,
then it's best to keep your mouth trapped.
Biggest mistake, letting Czech go. That's all I'm going to say.
Big time.
I just have to put that out there.
However, I'm going to pick him.
I wanted to go Begovic purely on the fact that I just
teed you
thought,
off.
yeah, he annoyed me, and I didn't think he deserved his start. But again, obviously, he is the better keeper, and if there is any chance of us keeping and improving these players that we have and keeping them for next summer, I guess game time is what they need.
Yeah, and he did make some absolutely brilliant saves playing for Belgium over the
Oh, great.
international break.
Well done. Cheers.
But maybe, he's finding a bit of form. I don't know. Anyway, Courtois, you're in. Defence, talk to me.
The mighty JT, but back, very much back, and has to hopefully, for me, be playing the remainder of all the games.
Yeah, I mean, interestingly, that he's been talked about potentially
for an
England recall.
I know. Let us know your thoughts on that. Do you think that John Terry, ever since he retired from international football, do you believe that his form for Chelsea, the reason it is so good is because he retired for England? And
let's do a video, I reckon, after this. Let's do a John Terry.
All right, check that video out and we will discuss the John Terry thing.
Make the decisions.
But he is going to be in our team, starting at centre-back.
Yeah, I think Terry, Cahill did a good job for England.
Yeah.
They go without saying. Right back is obviously got to be Dave. Left back is where...
Well, we were debating between
options.
Kennedy and Rahman, and personally I think Kennedy is more influential and more effective further forward.
However,
yeah.
do you know what? How could I?
What?
Do you know who we've completely disregarded?
Who?
Bloody Ivanovic. And he has to be in this team because Ivanovic always scores goals against Aston Villa. You know that?
Yeah, true. I think he scored 5 goals
more than any other team. So,
okay.
that. Yeah,
all right.
Go with me.
That was last minute. This is very ad-lib, by the way, Pete. There's no preparation in this.
Right back, Ivanovic.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Left back.
Dave.
It's got to be Dave. We were going to go with Babarahman, but sorry, mate, put your tracksuit
Let
back
us
on.
know your thoughts on that. Again, do you agree with us or do you not?
Yeah, got to be Dave. Because you have to pick Branner for this fixture. You have to.
Okay, yeah, we agreed.
All right.
That was a last late minute substitution there.
Yeah.
Right, let's go midfield. I think, again, I was pleased with how Loftus-Cheek was against West Ham.
Yeah,
I think effective and
little,
won the penalty for us.
Yeah.
Controversial or not, who cares? We got it. And we prevented West Ham from getting the win.
Yeah.
So, yes, we've chosen Loftus-Cheek and we're partnering them up with?
Cesc Fabregas, who is definitely on a roll of form at the moment. I think he scored 3 goals and 1 assist in his last 4 games.
Yeah,
so
and I was reading his pass percentage is up there with the top in the league, which is pretty good.
Cool. Well, Cesc and Ruben, in you go. The attacking 3 midfielders.
Well, we believe obviously we've got injuries.
Yeah.
So we're taking into account that Hazard.
Still no Hazard.
Still no Hazard.
From the PSG games.
Yeah. Again, I think I've been seeing a lot of anger towards Hazard. Partly justified, partly a little harsh, I think. But again, have your rant below. If Hazard was fit, would you play Hazard? But we believe he's not. So obviously we have gone for.
So in the middle, are we going in the middle? Yeah, let's go in the middle. Willian.
Mm-hmm. Obviously.
Obviously. Down the left, I would like to see Kennedy.
Agreed.
Yeah? You happy with that?
Mm-hmm.
So that means down the right, we've got, I guess, Oscar, Pedro to choose from.
For me, I was a little angry, to say the least, with Oscar against West Ham, I believe.
What angered you? Just abject.
If I'm right, I'm thinking that...
Couldn't be botheredness.
Yeah, that and the fact that he lost possession, never fought back and they scored the second goal. I think that was pretty major point in the game. And again, I just think he's had a pretty poor season. So for me, I would put Pedro in. Agreed?
Yeah, I'll give Pedro a go. I've been disappointed with Pedro this season, considering he was our major signing of the summer. You know, he's come from Barcelona, he's won everything in European football. I really thought he was going to set the Premier League on fire, and I've been really disappointed with him. We've seen flashes of Pedro brilliance, but not enough. So, against Aston Villa...
I thought it was disappointing. I thought he had a bit of a run, and I thought we were seeing the better Pedro, and then all of a sudden he got injured, and I think the injury came at a really rubbish time for him.
Away,
and then he started slowly back again. But I think let's give him game time. Let's get Pedro playing, and hopefully let's get him back to form if he is with us next season.
Yes. So we know there's no Costa up front because he's still serving a suspension from the red card he got at Everton in the FA Cup. So that throws open a world of debate.
Come on then, start it off.
So, Pato, is this guy...
Pato, is he alive still?
Apparently there's a website that's been created. The internet wants to know if Pato is still alive.
Yes.
And they've created a website called haspatoplayedforchelsea.com. And it's just a ticking...
And if Rory was here, he would give you the stat about how he's the longest, isn't it? He's broken records of a player signing in January and not having played for the club and all that. Yeah, he likes that stat. So we're not going to throw that stat at you again because I'm pretty sure you are all aware of it.
But I think he's definitely out of favour with Gus Hiddink. Obviously, we know that he arrived...
Do you think it's purely down to fitness or is there something more?
Hiddink said that when he arrived at Stamford Bridge in January, he was in pre-season body shape or something like that. So he was obviously thought he was a bit overweight. So they must have been working him hard for the last 2 months. I think there's a bit more of an issue. Like either Hiddink doesn't rate him as a footballer, or there's something in his attitude that Hiddink doesn't like. But for whatever reason, I mean, you know, Traore, Loic Remy, like all these other players are above him in the pecking order. I just can't see him getting a kick.
Agree, and you know we're down. You know, going back to the West Ham game, we were down 2-1 at home.
Yeah, and you bring on Loftus-Cheek.
And it was a strange substitution to not bring on a striker when you're at home and you're needing goals. But I personally, a huge fan of Traore. So for me, would start Traore because I want to see more of him and want to see more of what he can do for us because what he's done so far has been very impressive.
I wholeheartely agree.
But there's someone else I think you're keen on seeing.
It's just because like I'm so shocked about it. I've been reading the papers this morning and there's a hint on the back pages that a certain Falcao might play.
He's alive
for
as well,
Chelsea
apparently.
Yeah, hasn't played for 5 months since November. But if rumours are to be believed, and they always are, then apparently Falcao is in line to get picked against Villa. And also, what better chance to, you know, break your duck than against Aston Villa, who just ship goals for fun.
Great. If he's fit and we can see him play, then bring it on. But for me, are we starting with Traore and then having those two on the bench and hoping to see them play?
Yeah.
Agreed?
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
Okay, yes, we've agreed.
We've agreed. Right, guys, well, that was our team. Let us know if you agree with it. What have we done right? What have we done wrong? And let us know what your starting 11s are in the comments below. Sophia, anything you'd like to add?
No, just come on the Blues.
Come on, you Blues. Right, is he here? No. Okay. Right, it's April Fool's Day and we all need a laugh. So a couple of months ago, a hypnotist came into this studio to try and work his magic on us.
Now, guys, the reason you haven't seen this video yet is because Rory has desperately tried to